Hello, hello. So, welcome to the world of old. So, today we are going to look at a bit of a different setup compared to our usual stream. So, I'll be playing along as usual, but following the latest playthrough, I played on stream over the last 2 weeks, which was one city challenge. There were some requests for additional guidance and advice and more in-depth explanation about what I was doing and the overall strategy to be followed on one city challenge. So I'm going to try to illustrate that in game while presenting something more like a guide regarding this kind of setups. And we'll go through the consequences of the settings, what it does, and a few aspects about the game in general. So we'll go with pick later because I fully expect. Well, I will definitely restart simply to illustrate the different type of starts and strategies you can go for, even if the overall principles that we'll try to follow to build a one city challenge strategy will be similar. So yeah, this is a setting on the great on the continents, which is a default map. I suppose we want to do something a bit more random to adapt to starts. We'll find. So we'll roll abundantly, talking about some considerations about what constitute a good OCC start, an easier one, things like that, and go through a few varied strategies and alternatives and things to keep in mind for one city challenge. So let's go. Also, to start with, I apologize, but it's the weather is very hot where I live, and so I can barely survive without a fan. So maybe a bit of noise will be picked up by my mic from the fan. So I hope it's not too distracting. But there you go. Oh, all right. So this is a non-standard start. So I will be yapping a lot during this stream because I will have to go through many considerations. Uh, Obviously, all right, good. Thank you, Fluffy, and welcome. Um, the, the the only well, one city challenge as a setting in old world does three things. The obvious one is that it prevents you from settling additional cities. You cannot even make settlers. So and for sometimes that's all it did actually. It does a couple more things now. In particular, it restricts the set of ambitions available to ambitions that could conceivably be achieved in one city challenge. And it's important to note conceivably be achieved. Some will be quite hard or will have like pretty direct prerequisites. For instance, 100 urban tiles is something you that might sound trivial if you have a builder leader, but it's probably impossible if you don't. If you go through all your urban improvements in old world with the full line of every improvement and let's say legendary city for 4 hamlets and 4 temples and all that, you get to maybe I think the total is under 50. I haven't counted again in quite some time, but if you cannot just make urban tile or capture minor cities, it's typically not doable. So there are a few like that, or you have to be very conscious of your setup, where you are, the availability of a builder leader, or your capacity to get minor cities to be able to reach them. Uh, but they are theoretically possible. But you won't get offered an ambition to get uh, 6 range and barracks, for instance, because there's no way you're going to be able to do that. They're limited to 2 each. You have a single city, you'll never have 6. You maybe will have 4. Um, and the third thing that it modifies is you cannot capture cities in one city challenge because you cannot have more than one cities. So, welcome, Val, and thank you for the support and the solidarity, I suppose. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, very much hardship while the heat. That's true. So, but probably just as the weather is probably just as difficult where you are. So, yeah, let's share. Um, yeah, I was coming. So yeah, for a long time we didn't have an option to raise cities in old world because it's a bit special. So if you were conquering a nation, the city site would remain, and you would never be able to to capture it. So you would have to leave a unit there, or someone else would capture it until the end of the game, essentially. And today it's a bit different. When you are in one city challenge, you are automatically in raise city mode. So if you fully capture a city site will still exist, but every improvement will be the city will be raised. That is, all population is destroyed, all culture for everyone is destroyed, all improvements are instantly pillaged, etc. So tiles that have become urban are still urban because that's a terrain type, so you cannot really revert. The game forget that it was arid or temperate or anything before. But that's it. That's one city challenge. So of course the big change is a single city, meaning you have a single build queue. So you want your city to be very efficient, and your build queue is extremely precious. So, and of course, it will have to do everything for you. So you want to work with minimum unit production because you will have your own full to make a super city that will try to produce as much as possible. So productivity in old world, so that's among your resources. These are resources that we call goods internally, things you use to pay for something else, food, iron, um, stone and wood, and of course money, that is a bit of an intermediate resource that you can use to buy and sell the others. And these ones I would count more as production. So science, which is, well, it's a bit of a stretch calling it production, but it's what produces knowledge essentially. Civics in a city is or a city is production, city protection, when you are trying to produce specialists or projects, mostly. Training is your production when you are producing units. And then there's growth, which is your production when you are producing civilian units. In a departure from Civ, where you have a bit of a thing like that, where the food production of a city also is essentially what growth is in old world. And in Civ, well, some Civ versions at least, excellent food contributes to production of civilian units like settlers and workers and all that. Here they are fully distinct. You can be negative on food and positive on growth and have your city gain citizens and all that. So this is cleanly split. But you will want your city to get many specialists to be able to generate the research you need, and for that you need a lot of civics. So a default strategy, I went over it in a bit of detail in the last game I streamed, is to go for sages as a family because they produce a bit of extra civics, they produce a bit of extra research, one per specialist, they have an archive to start with, and you have a bit of a leg up with an extra random technology. In terms of archetype, builder is definitely the easy way. Certainly at the start of the game you might benefit from a judge later on in some cases. That could be better than a builder, but that's really the easiest one. So I won't get too much into builders for now. We'll go about a bit of the details. But then in terms of family starts, there's actually quite a few options. And here, I expect most people already familiar with the game will immediately identify a play that is tempting here, which is going for patrons, because there are four precious resources in range of the start, which means that we can rush culture, and we want to rush culture. The main and default way to win in one city challenge is ambition. You can do other things, but it's typically much harder, and we will probably need to game a little bit to play with the systems to simply avoid winning another victory, or you will have to deactivate them, something like that. But that would be a patron start, clearly. So the options to play patrons are Axum, Assyria, Greece, and Rome, I believe. Am I missing one? Without playing with random families, I suppose. In that case, I would lean toward Greece, and I'll explain a bit why. So, one of the national bonuses from Greece is useless. You will never produce a settler, not even the first one. So that's completely blank, essentially, as a bonus. So 2 culture per city still does something in the early game. The set of shrine is decent. The unique unit is not really relevant, and they start with stone cutting, which is very good because you will want urban improvements early and often, and drama, which is also extra culture quickly, so it really plays into the culture rushing aspect of what we are going to attempt. So I'll play the beginning of the game here. Patrons and builder. I will do mostly standard things, but I will use the game to illustrate the points I'm making. So here I have a judge courtier. So as patrons, I immediately have luxury that I could assign in my capital. I really want to start improving my city immediately. I'll appoint my leader as a governor, and even if I really want all the precious resources, meaning this one is important because I needed to get that, I need to improve and put a specialist on either the gold or the silver to get the gems in my territory here, I will still go for the wheat farm to start with. So the advantages of a builder are the ability to make workers faster, the ability to make urban tiles without having to make a urban improvement, and in a much quicker way as well. And they can stack workers, and stacking workers is actually probably the strongest accelerator in the game. Or one of the stronger accelerator in the game, certainly combined with faster workers as well, because it allows you to complete improvements and so get the benefit out of them much quicker. You'll probably want 5 to 6 workers in a reasonable amount of time. There might be reasons to delay some of that a little bit, and here I'll be going divination. So the reason to go divination are the usual ones. It's a great agency to be able to put a urban improvement anywhere and extend your territory. It's also, so for instance, I would not be above in this case putting a shrine on top of the salt just to extend my territory without having to get a salt miner. And yeah, let's scout a bit maybe, or if you have the right promotions, I suppose we could try it. If we are lucky to and find a urban tile adjacent to the camp, Warden could be a great help to clear it quickly. So let's do that. So there are some families that are more appropriate for one city challenge in general. Something that boosts your civics and culture is always good. I have no general option, so Warden is my best shot at plus 25% bonus, which is why I opted for it. And you will want to race for culture. So to get strong, wonders will be super valuable, which is why if you want an early one, Egypt is typically better able to do that than anyone. So that's why I went with Egypt and Sages in my last demonstration. I should have moved my walker instead of my scout. So I'll redo that. Oh, that doesn't change anything anyway. Okay. What did I do? Yeah, I still want to attack. I want to clear this spot to have a bit less dangerous environment. So I'll do that just one turn late. Another unit will spawn, but I will deal with that when that comes, essentially. All right. Getting wood, getting a mine, and more wood for more mine next turn. So, of course, as a patron city, this one is already a little bit more efficient at producing civics. I could have gone Ati. I forgot Ati has access to patrons as well. So that would be +2 extra civics as well with Ati. Here, I want the farm as quickly as possible to improve my growth, make my workers even quicker, and start my city growing super early. So that's one thing I will do in almost, well, in most games really, not only one city challenge, but getting an early farmer if you have a grain resource in your capital is not the worst idea you could have, essentially. All right. I get an opportunity to marry my court minister. Alright, let's do that. Clear the camp as planned, and we'll probably be able to clear this guy as well, although it will complete a bit later. Finish the silver by stacking my walker on top of the one that was already there and active, and grab the ancient ruin. So the value of exploration, grabbing extra resources, bonuses, etc. is of course just as good in one city challenge as it is anywhere. Maybe a little bit better, although some bonuses that scale with cities will not reward you very much with one city challenge. Alright. So here the point is to start and get growing in terms of culture very quickly. That hopefully the game is to have a first pick of legendary, possibly strong wonders, and possibly all of them. But unless you start with Egypt and already have a lot of stone, it's not as easy to get the early wonders. I will just pick the free iron. We want to mitigate potential aggression, etc. even more than in a normal game, so don't declare war just for the legitimacy. It will be harder to win the actual war than in normal settings. Not that it's trivial without the challenge, but CC it's harder typically. Right, I'll stock up my walker. So walker micro is typically important. Especially if you are at high level. So if you really dislike micromanagement, maybe one city challenge is not the best suited for you, or maybe go down a few difficulty levels. One city challenge typically makes a game harder. You will have less ways of achieving your goals. Fewer, sorry. So here what I did is because, alright, let me replay that. Because this improvement requires 3 years of work in total, and I've already accomplished 2, and there are 2 workers on the tile. So one of them is useless, one of them is not necessary. The improvement will complete anyway. So I might as well use the guy to do something else. And that's what I'm doing here by moving them away and starting another mine. Here I will want to get the miner here as quickly as possible to extend my tile, get access to the third precious resource here, get a tile adjacent to the volcano as well. In the meantime, I could make a walker or get a festival to accelerate the growth a little bit, and I'm probably going for a festival in this context. This worker is now done. I can complete this mine in 1 turn. So even mines with a builder, well, 3 turns, you can still get considerable acceleration, especially if you're careful with your worker micro. I water. So flood is coming. We cannot really invest the resources. We could buy the stone. But here we'll try to conserve our resources. So Patrons is a bit of a specific start because it's really dependent on the start, but your best strength is culture. It's almost guaranteed that you will be first, especially if you're Greek on top and you start with Odeons and you get shrines early. Everything goes in that direction, essentially. So that's definitely an important play. All right, the tile has become flat. I suppose we could pay. Alright, or not. I click elsewhere. And I don't want to pay either, so I'll take the discontent. So discontent management at the city level will be a bit easier to manage because we have a single family, so it will be easier to deal with their discontent, and every single bonus will help the same city, obviously. So that will help a bit too. And with that, I think I'm starting the next mine. Oh, I'm surprised I don't count as martial as a warlike, but I don't. Okay, I'm not thoughtful. I'm regal though. I could get an extra courtier. Oh, that makes sense too. I'll just pick the civics. So one thing that will be very hard to get is enough civics. With only one city producing everything, yeah, my city is investing its civics production in getting me a festival. So what I get is charisma from characters, and that's it. So long as you're working on festivals or getting specialists or a project or anything like that, you're not getting any civics here. That will very much complicate adopting laws, theologies for a religion, adopting a state religion, but even just starting a wonder. Or things like that. So you need to be cautious about what you use for civics. It's probably a bad idea to use a mission to marry your leader or to do such things early on in the game because you have little civics and little chance to get more of it. Here, 5 specialists is reasonable. I will not get it instantly, but I will get it. So let's pick it. Alright, I suppose I'll go up to turn 30 or something like that to discuss the strengths of patrons a bit more. But yeah, I would not consider patrons a main OCC family unless you have a strong patron start. So at the end of the day, it's still situational. It's not something we should do every time. Alright, I'll cut a bit of wood. I don't want to put an Odeon here because I want to keep the slots adjacent to my city because this is a requirement for many wonders. And I suppose we could check. So this, the Apadana, the Royal Library, the Museum, the Circus Maximus and the Vialecta Soak all need to be adjacent to your city center. So if I want to just keep my options open, I want at least 4 slots adjacent to my city center kept in case I get a chance to build these wonders. Um, so ideally, I'd put my Odeon somewhere here or something like that because that's adjacent to city tiles, so eligible, but not to my city center. And I think I will use my last two orders to assign the luxury we got from the start. I should have done that a bit earlier instead of moving my scout, but better late than never. Alright. Oh, we get a chance to get ore. Ore becomes 2 out of the land, which is extra food and happiness, but it takes more time to make improvement and more time to get rural specialists. I don't actually value it that much, especially in OCC. So alright, let's get ore. Ore is awesome. Okay. We could put our Odeon anywhere adjacent to our city center, or here, or there. And that doesn't sound unreasonable to me. But I really want to start my shrine and to get it done as quickly as possible once we get divination. So I suppose I'll spend a bit of effort there and start on the next walker right away. Well, we won't really need to do that. So okay, let's get our specialist. We want to get the plus 100% culture that we can as soon as possible, meaning improving all 4 of the precious resources we have around. So we'll go along with that. And since this worker is not needed to complete the improvement next turn, once again I will move this one away to be closer to the position I want the worker next turn, which is right here. A lumber mill is sounds actually, yeah, sounds swell. All right, let's get a lumber mill. This one is adjacent to a camp, so a bit better. Lumber mill receive a bit better value from camps to 20%. Well, adjacent to a potential camp. There is no camp there today. And Riverside, of course, is better, so let's put it here. And with that, let's start our first shrine. So we have to pay, but it's worth it in my book. Yeah, we spent all our initial stone stockpile on other things. And yeah, I think I'm happy getting well, any shrine really. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the adjacency easily to benefit from the bonus from this one. So this is one, these two, well, the set of Shrines of Greece rewards adjacency a bit better than most, but this one, a bit of extra money, maybe not the top priority, but on the other hand, it's very indifferent on placement. So let's get there. Aristocracy is probably the default path in terms of tech, but I suppose we should discuss about that. So if you don't start with stone cutting, that's definitely a handicap in One City Challenge. Well, the best 2 techs to start with are probably stone cutting and divination in the first row. So you'll want to do something with those techs early on. Most nations starts with 2 level 1 tech and 1 level 2. There are a few exceptions or strange setups, but that's most of the cases. You typically want aristocracy to be able to benefit from centralization, which is of course strong, especially if you're rushing culture. So we'll be doing that. Somewhat standard. Once again, that's not a big deviation compared to the play outside of One City Challenge. But it can be said that this doesn't deviate much from normal play. Alright, our shrine will complete next turn with or without our worker, and I will get another one here. This time not really for to extend my territory, but to get extra civics. And because it's adjacent to two tiles that are adjacent to my city center, I get a chance to get the adjacency benefit, a wall order for every adjacent wonder by building it here. I haven't met any AI, but I'm not in any great hurry to do that, so I'll just have a look around. What? Oh, I suppose I clicked on the unit, but I'm not sure if... Well, a scout cannot attack other units, so... sorry for the misclick and the confusion there. Alright, so we just like replaced a resource there, so we gain... I believe it's extra money when we replace it with something. Or possibly culture, so we get the extended territory from our shrine and access to this resource. Let's still get some wood, complete our shrine next turn. Yeah, getting a little bit of extra legitimacy with our scout would be useful, and we can also harvest fur for extra culture in our city, but we are already getting 21 culture per turn. So given the awesome culture growth that we set up for ourselves, harvesting culture is not a big priority in this context, but it can often be important. Can take an extra spouse. No need. Oh, eloquent is very lucky. That's one of the strongest traits you can hope for in well, in any case, in any context, but in particular in one city challenge, because I'll be getting specialist. I picked an ambition for that. I'll want to improve some of these tiles to compound their benefits. So all good. Okay, she's strong in charisma on our leader. Let's get the gems mine, and because we already have a plus 50% and will be plus 75% once we complete this this mine in culture, just improvements actually improve the culture generation of the city by 5.7 culture, a lot more than the default resource by itself. Alright, we got our new miner completed. We already have the citizen to be able to start another specialist. And in this context, I suppose I'll get a worker now, because I will soon be able to use it, and get a poet on the Odeon as well. Alright, this will complete whether I leave my worker there or not. So once again, I'll move to be in position to make the theater this time. I don't have enough orders to start it this turn, so I could spend some of my training, but I might as well leave it where it is. It will still be available later. I could become bold. I could gain a wisdom point and some good opinion from the vandals. Or I could gain legitimacy and some happiness. So that's probably good. I think I value the wisdom quite a bit in this case. I don't really want to antagonize them, and I don't... The citizen is quite good, actually. It's probably one of the best parts of what we are looking at here. But here I leave a strength slot open. I get a bit of wisdom, so a bit of science. And if these guys raid someone else rather than my lands, it's still advantageous to me. So, oh, okay, we gain a religion, an early one. Excellent, very good. Okay, so I don't think I will play this one for much longer. So we could get opinion from the Jews and Greek paganism. Could gain a discipline or a rebel. Play one against the other. Play one against the other in the other direction. The discipline is tempting, but my warrior is very far away. I don't really want to make another one in emergency to get my city worked and accumulate more discontent than I really need to. So actually, I'll just pick the positive opinion, right? Presumably, Jewish opinion will help with Romans. And with that, let's start the theater and start to work our way toward our last precious resource, our prospective good quarries spot, and we'll see about that. So the whole point will be to work toward improving our civics. Ideally, since our build queue is our big limitation, obviously, we really want to get to a threshold where we can get our specialist in one turn, because that's as quick as we can get, really. So, and even if it's a single turn faster than 2 turns, it doubles your speed. So it's really important to focus on that. Of course, you won't get this benefit super early, but you will get there. So that's compounding on research, because it's a urban specialist, so it will be a bit more efficient at that. I suppose we could attempt to fund Zoroastrianism, but honestly, it's pretty late already for the grade, so I'm not likely to get it. I might as well get a poet. An acolyte is more or less the same, with a bit of religion opinion. Uh, um, yeah, a bit less culture. It's 2 base, so multiplied it's 3.5 in this context. Yeah, it's 3 base, so 5.2 with plus 75%. One could make a point for making this specialist first to gain additional good quarries opportunities, because I will need to work on my stone very urgently now. I could buy my resources, and don't forget that that's a huge value in having a builder leader, is that you can buy the resources you don't have, so that considerably accelerates your start. I was prudent in that I tried to chop wood and minimize the amount I needed to buy and all that, but still that very comfortably allows me um, to not have to spend these orders in the middle if I don't have to. So so an important thing. All right, let's not pay tribute. Let's trade. Yeah, sure. Meaning we'll have to buy food at one point, but that's okay. The opinion is worth it. Not adopting a state religion. We are keeping our civics to adopt centralization as soon as we reach our tech. Let's send. So I'd say, well, it's always a decent study pass, right? But getting the wisdom will get you science immediately. Philosophy and commerce are the 2 study paths that give you a chance to become a builder, which is very important. A judge is also very decent as a second or mid-game leader in OCC. It doesn't do nearly as much once you can one-turn specialist anyway, but it's good to be able to buy a few, depending on your overall setup. And scholars can be very decent as well, giving you more agency in your research and extra research. So philosophy is probably the default path, I would say, in that context. We could disappoint the matriarch but gain 2 discipline for it, so let's check. That the matriarch is bloodthirsty, steadfast, bitter, tactician. Well, we could appoint her as a general, but yeah, I'll definitely disappoint her. The 2 discipline is a bit too good to pass. No problem there. At one point I want to get my warrior back and heal them, and it's starting to be late. Uh, so that's something to get to have a look at. It's no use holding the site if I'm getting slaughtered there by warriors, or if I'm taken by surprise by a raid and this guy cannot help because he's too hurt. So yeah, okay, we are in our position, and yes, indeed, I think I might go for this guy or directly for another poet. Actually, that makes sense. Alright, we are having raiders anyway, so we surely would have missed Zoroastrianism, or it would have been... Yeah, we would have missed it by one turn. We were on turn 18, so assuming two turn acolytes, we would just be completing our second acolyte, and but Zoroastrianism was just founded. No longer philosophy student that becomes foolish is unacceptable, we'll have to pay money. We'll convert. And we'll send a second kit to commerce. A second shot at getting a builder, essentially. That's the idea for that. Although the other archetypes are also acceptable, at least. Alright, let's start to move back. I cannot do it in a single turn anyway, it's more than 3 moves away. Alright, we are getting a courtier, we are lucky, thoughtful and... okay, so Rome will settle. But alright, that's the overall shape. That's the kind of start you would want to see to go for a patron one city challenge. I don't think I'm going to play it much further. Maybe one thing I should have done is saving the start if someone is interested in playing along or trying a patron's OCC on such a start. But this one is a bit over-investing in culture. That's the whole theme of patrons. And whatever you pick, you need to make them the best use of it. So lean into what you get. So here I'm patrons with this kind of start, with this for precious resources, means my city is already generated 52 culture on turn 23, which is awesome, and it's going to get better with the master poet. Greece having access to audience from the start of the game is also awesome, because for that kind of culture pushes, because that goes into early culture generation as well. Etc. Everything goes in that direction. So make use of it. Don't play patrons like you would play sages, maybe, or things like that. All right. And with that, I suggest, unless there are questions relative to this particular start, if you want to ask anything, I will just restart the map. No, let me check. I should have the autosave for the start still in my directory, so I'll put it on the side for posting on Discord. So I'll post the starts of the games I start here on our Discord, so that if you want to have a go at some of the maps I'm playing with here, you will be able to. Alright, so autosaves. Where's my start? Here it is. So I'll call that OCC patron start. Alright, so remember, it's pick later, pick later. So if you want to try something else on this start, that will be possible as well. Alright, so we've got to look at patrons. I think you have an idea of the kind of things to look for to start such a start with such a family. It's not very different from if you weren't playing OCC, but you just want to put everything you put all your eggs in the same basket, so I have to be careful about that. One thing is be very conscious that it's not that easy to get civics. Here, I mean easy mode because my characters all have positive charisma, and I had an awesome courtier which I could marry early on without having to spend the 100 civics and all that. All the civics I spent on that. But that is an awesome position for civics in one city challenge. Uh, unless you're Carthage, I suppose, maybe could get better luck. So what we'll do now is start a new game. So I will regenerate, we'll see what kind of maps we get. Let's check what map script we got. So this was Island. We went for random map script, so we might have quite a few duds for one city challenge. But this was Island, if that's of interest to anyone. And let's check again, and we can discuss some other possibilities, other things to consider for OCC. So I would say probably the top families, depending on the start, to play one city challenge are sages, patrons, traders, artisans, landowners. In no particular order. Landowner is actually possibly stronger than artisans, so I'm not sure. There are, let's say, not quite as potent versions of culture rushing that you could do with artisans in particular, because you can get your shrines much quicker. They just get more culture baseline, etc. So this is a playable start for OCC because you have at least one grain, and there are some extra resources. You will want your shrine to work toward the volcano to get some decent, some more quarries opportunities, but there's no awesome fishing resources to open up a trader pick. Of course, you may humbly suggest, Fluffy, and I might even oblige. Sure, I'll post my save there. And I often keep saves from all the games I play on stream, so I will probably stash them somewhere a bit similarly to what Cyan has already been doing earlier, I believe. So here, we don't have very much that is playing in our hand for OCC. So what we would look for a strong start is at least one source of grain. At least it's the best grain we could get, barley. It's mostly the best because it's spawns on lush tiles, so it will generate more food. But that's really not that significant. I would take 2 sorghum over 1 barley any time of the week, because what's really important is the growth it generates. And in that sense, barley or wheat or sorghum is exactly as valuable. They are all 2 growth. So if you're starting OCC, I would recommend to look for something better than that, something that looks better. You're looking for grain, or for a good patron start, or a good trader start, or something with good growth and decent overall resource generation. Here it's decent. It's decent really, but you would want something better. It's decent because there's some wood, there's some riverside forest tiles. There are quite a few hills and a north tile, so you will have good iron production and some good visibility up there. It's okay for stone generation you can get around the volcano, but ideally you want something that looks better for stone generation. Multiple volcanoes or mountains, a bit more arid tiles, things like that. So I will not play through it, but I will just use it as an illustration for this plan. If you want if you've never done one city challenge, it requires a different mindset, I would say, as well as some good technical knowledge of the game. I'd say mechanical knowledge. So maybe lower the difficulty compared to what you're used to, and give yourself a good start. Don't be ashamed of rerolling the start. So this is a Mediterranean map script, but we are going to reroll it and discuss another map. All right, so this actually looks better. So we don't have hills for iron production here. And keep in mind, this is one city challenge. It's not like we are going to be able to put another city somewhere to get iron for us. We want it in our territory. What's good is that we have 2 grains this time. Some mountainside tiles that will provide decent stone. We have a pair of rivers, some arid tiles, so it's likely we will have terrain to place any wonders. If you don't have arid or tiles or sand, well, no pyramids for you, no Heliopolis, no all of that. So something to consider. These wonders require arid or sand to be built. Some wonders require hills, so we want to get some in our territory at least for that, and more for iron, ideally. And some wonders want to be riverside. So this is a decent start. It's not like an incredible one. Incredible ones for one city challenge are marble plus growth, typically. But I would probably consider it a sort of a default OCC start, where I would probably go sages or conceivably artisans. And yeah, maybe that's something we could illustrate here. Try to look at what an artisan start might be. Yeah, all right, let's take a look. And so artisans, nations with access to artisans are Babylonia, Carthage, Greece, Kush, and that's it. I think in the list. I would probably go Kush. Because well, Kush or Carthage to start with divination and artisans, and you get a strong shot at funding Zoroastrianism, which is quite good. I suppose I could go with and the set of shrines from Kush is very strong as well. With Carthage, I would get an extra 200 civics. Sure, I get this only once, but being able to hire mercenary is quite strong. Both Kush and Carthage start with trapping, so that wouldn't change anything regarding improving this elephant. But both could be played. Yeah, we could play the jet or Carthage. So the bonus civic though is awesome as Carthage. Starting with aristocracy means we don't need to go for it. What's a bit the advantage of Kush comparatively is the plus 50% on shrines, which is never to be neglected, and starting with stone cutting as opposed to starting with aristocracy. So both are good. Let's have a look at Carthage maybe. Yeah, so Carthage, Magonids, and Builder again. Alright, so we have 2 workers to start with. We already have, so we are going stone cutting, no question. We already have divination. We want to make use of it, but it's turn 1 and we don't have any resources, so we cannot really do that yet. So one of our workers will be getting some wood. Our leader will be assigned for the growth, XP, and all that. And we'll get our other worker in position. So that's a yeah. Well, I could have all right. That's maybe not optimal, but yeah. And I'll go for another worker straight away. Oh, and I'm kidding. So that's interesting. We have an opportunity to make caravans. So that's something we'll discuss probably more once we find some form of trader start. But here I just want my farms. And as you can see, in terms of growth, wheat or sorghum is exactly the same. The point of these farms is not really food. Okay. And next turn our workers will be ready and we'll be able to start our first shrine. In the meantime, maybe let's pay a visit to these guys. We don't really have a general to appoint. Oh, yeah, alright. For the hell of it, I suppose. But it's not a great slinger, so we don't expect impressive achievements out of that. Let's get a shrine here. We want to get our resources. Usual considerations for improvement placement. But it's a bit more tight. You won't have well, you won't have more cities. You won't have more opportunities to improve these things. So of course, it's valuable. If we ever get, I think we want the Shrine of Baal Ammon. We don't care about the adjacency for pastures. We want to gain access to the salt and to the coast. I just saw a marble tile here, which is super valuable. So let's get this shrine. And because we are a builder, so it's one less turn to complete a urban improvement, and because we are artisans, which is 2 fewer turns to complete an improvement in your family seat, it's completed in 1 turn. So it's very quick. So that's why Carthage gets, or let's say any nation with starting with artisans and divination from the get-go, has a pretty unbeatable shot at funding Zoroastrianism, so long as we are talking about funding it naturally. So here I want to get those resources. It's not like I can really use them, but even the extra bit of culture getting from having the lavender in my territory, even if it's not improved, is valuable. I'll get a bit more food out of it. And here I don't get the full value out of this border expansion because I will get something very similar from my shrine. So our paganism is funded, so we'll find the first weakness of artisans is that getting acolytes takes a long time. They don't have any civics bonus, so that makes life a bit harder. Are we dying? Not quite. We want another shrine very quickly. I don't think we can pay for it yet. That would be 209. I don't think we can get there. Hey, maybe. Alright, if I sell all my wood, yes, I can get there. So I'm going to build a big parking lot on top of these goats. Just in the name of expediency, to get access to this tile, to get secure access to the coast and everything. And also I want both my shrines very quickly for what I'm attempting. So I might as well get the money from the water tiles. Let's do that. But overall, I think Artisan OCC, well, it's very strong, and here it compounds because I'm going for funding Zoroastrianism and all that. It's, I think, a bit tougher if you don't already have some OCC experience for this challenge. All right, so we got our two acolytes. Do I regret making a farmer and consuming my first citizen that way? Not really, but there could be a point to be made to making the citizen the specialist early on. All right, and we really want this, but we don't have the tech to do that. All right, and we probably cannot pay for husbandry. That is a bit sad. It would have been quite good. But if I sell all this food, I still don't get enough. So I don't think that's an option. Oh, but getting the farmer instantly is probably worth it, though. Well, I guess I'll get the other one. All right. So we're getting this farmer. No doubt, we have only 2 farms. We're already working on this one, so we get the other farmer for free. That's an extra citizen, and we start to grow while I'm making those citizens. And in 4 turns, almost as soon as we complete this one, we'll get an extra citizen to be able to get our first acolyte and then the second one. All right. But once again, this is kind of a side place. It's not an awesome start. Can probably make it work, especially having found the marble, having the coast for urban expansion and all that. But these are points maybe better illustrated with. All right, so this is awesome. The Amazon cult just generates orders. So let me see where we would put that. I'd be almost tempted to bulldoze to put it here, but we don't have the improvement, we don't have the specialist, we don't have any of that. So I think I'll just put it somewhere, let's say here, for instance. Minimum expansion. Oh, right, it's going to prompt me anyway. I'm stupid. Right, I'm used to the old ways. Apologies about that. And gather some wood. So you will want to chop. That's a way to generate some economy, is just chopping. And that's extra culture as well from these tiles. Oh, I'm still charming, right? Because I'm cunning. Alright, so good. I think I'm going to play it... oh, no, I'm going to play it this way, but what I really want is a citizen. My problem is generating citizens to get my acolytes, which is why I invested in growth to get a second citizen in particular, with a farmer first. I got a farmer for free, but here I get a free citizen. So I'm fully confident that as soon as the farmer is done, I'm working on my first acolyte, and the second citizen should be available pretty much almost right away as I complete the first one, and we should nab Zoroastrianism. So the easier way typically of funding Zoroastrianism with Carthage is to fund your second city with artisans, so you can start on a slow build the first shrine and then do the second one very quickly, because as soon as you found your second city as artisans, you get the free worker, you already have divination, you can make the shrine in 2 turns without a bitter governor. So a second shrine, of course, is the one that puts a limit. But here there's a single city, so you have to do it all with one city if you're going to do it. Yeah, and with that I'm going here, and I probably want the elephant just for the alpha order early if possible. Sacrifice. Well, they don't like us much, so I suppose we could invest the food. We won't have that much reason to hoard food early on anyway, so let's spend it. It's a currency we can afford, at least for now. And let's get it done quickly and finish healing our single unit. Alright, let's work on our acolytes. We don't really have any ways to accelerate that. Maybe if we had, I suppose, more charisma would be good. So charisma on your leader is very valuable, often more than wisdom even, I would say. For farmer specialists. For farmer specialist is actually quite unlikely, because I don't want to put specialist on anything but at least a resource for a rural specialist. So getting an additional 2 grain in my territory is not happening. I'm not wasting citizens and build time on average specialist or poor specialist, like specialist on a random farm. So that's not happening. 6 mines. I could get 6 mines, but they would have to be somewhat sad mines. I can get 2 on the salt, which are respectable. Then I would want this territory ideally, and I still have an issue cleaning that up. It will be slow with a single unit. I don't really want to get a second unit. I will have to at one point. But suppose these ambitions are not very seductive at the moment. So I'll just go without it and grab the XP. And I wonder if I should be blinking at these people. Let's explore a bit the coast. Alright, there's a lot of fish here. Some legitimacy. Some free iron, cool. Free tech! Well, don't mind if I do. Cyan would shun me for picking a free tech, but why not? I think I'm going for... Alright. I'd actually be tempted by police because I want the agency that Hamlets grant me to be able to make a urban improvement. When I've got this stonecutter and so this tile, I will want to put a hamlet or a shrine or something there to be able to start here. I will want to make a urban zone one day when I'll get here by putting another urban improvement. But I still have 2 shrines available to do that. So I can still, I still have some opportunities to improve that with the Shrine of Feshmun and the Shrine of Tanit. So, and we are on stream indeed, my dear Fluffy. So let's go with drama. And of course, drama is good. It's an opportunity for urban specialists. Overall, I think it's a better pick if you have to pick between police and drama, unless you have a specific strategy hinging off on police, because you want to go forestry, for instance, or something like that. We'll see if these guys come out and we can thin the horde a little bit. Maybe. Well, it seems they are. So, alright, let me look at my events. Oh, I could marry a Scythians. I don't care that much, but they are probably one of my most powerful neighbors. That kind of makes sense just for diplomacy. I don't really want to marry a hero because I will hate my gut. I'm a builder. So let's go with the tactician. Let's convert to paganism. Oh, and we could get peace with Gauls as well. Alright, so that's quite comfortable. Peace with tribes around me. And decent relation with the other one. So let's do that. In terms of improvement around our capital, we really want to get this marble tile as early as we can. So we'll be going in that direction. Alright, I didn't expect Rome to be funding Judaism this early, but it happened. I suppose Hati is not in the game or something. We got developing, we could get bonus opinion, we could get courtier. So Cato is one of the courtier I rate higher than others. Of course, intelligent is excellent, strict is good, but having a judge that you can place anywhere, no matter if your family tends to generate some judges and all of that, to be able to rush specialist is extra valuable. So of course I'm picking Cato. I'm finishing my first acolyte right here because of the luck we had earlier with the extra farmer, with the ability to pick a citizen from meeting a tribe. We will be able to get the second acolyte, to start the second acolyte next turn as soon as we are done with the first. And it might make sense at that point because we have a bit of extra civics, and that's entirely being Carthage, right? Carthage is 200 extra civics, and that's pretty much what we have. All the extra is whatever point of charisma we got from royals, right? So Cato this turn, and a little bit of whatever when we were making workers and our city civics was going into the stockpile. So, meaning that if we were on Carthage, appointing, well, doing what I'm about to do wouldn't even be an option. We wouldn't have the civics to simply change governor. Alright. Okay, we have a few things to do beginning of the turn. So we got stone cutting. Our acolyte is done. We could gain an extra citizen right now, which is great, once again. Plus 20% culture is actually very valuable in OCC. There's not that many culture multiplier. The only regular ones are the cathedrals, improvements, and the mausoleum wonder. Otherwise, it's all event projects coming from events. So actually, I'd pick that. If I needed the extra citizen to get my second acolyte or something like that, if I had a specific plan in mind, of course, 90 stone is very good as well. But they are picking propaganda. And let's go for that play. So I will assign Cato instead of my leader. Start the acolyte, complete the acolyte, and I should found the Austrianism in 2 turns. This is not bad as border expansion go, to get this spot that would be a bit hard to secure otherwise, but I don't think it's worth 5 turns. Let's be clear. So here actually I'd be tempted to go for the full beeline toward architecture. I have some of what I need, which is opportunities to make urban specialists. Oh no, it's 3 turns of course, because I don't have built governor anymore. But still, that was a decent turn. Implying that if I wanted to micro that perfectly, I should have started the improvement before I made the governor swap, then put another worker, and I would have a worker available to do something else this turn, or spend a bit fewer orders. Alright, turn 14, we got our second acolyte. If we're lucky, we found the Austrianism next turn. Or unless someone steals it from us. I think I'm just picking the money here, really. An happiness level, lose our shrine. Our shrine is awesome. It's plus 2 orders. We won't have this much opportunity to generate more orders, so that's an excellent bonus that we want to keep. I don't want to slide Cato for exactly the reason I explained. He is very valuable at the moment. So I'll take the risk. Maybe he becomes, if I'm lucky, he becomes interceded. Otherwise, he will become suspicious of plotting, and that will be almost as bad as slighting him. But we can presumably make it work. All right. So now we want an extra citizen to make our stonecutter. So once again, that's the use case for a festival. Although, since we will grow naturally next year, we'll just make a council, put what civics we generate directly into the stockpile, as well as the rest, a little bit of bonus on our money and training generation, and we'll get our stonecutter, then go festival. We'll have much better civics and so quicker festivals after we get the stonecutter. So let's do that. And we are not lucky. We were in competition with AI. Well, actually, they funded it a turn earlier, so you can see how much competition there can be for early religion. So that really depends on everything else with advanced development. They do all start with divination as well. So there you go. And with that, I think we are going to look at another kind of play for OCC. So let's see what the map restarts give us. Once again, 1 second while I grab the start, if you want to look at this one, or to play this one on your side. I will call it OCC Artisans. Alright, and let's look at a new map. Oh, all right. So here, there's nothing that tells us trader start or patron start or something like that, but there's awesome growth, right? I was mentioning the value of grain. So here we have 4 sorghum tiles immediately in range, and 3 of them can be improved with a single granary here, which means that this will power our growth for the entire game. So that's very powerful in itself. We it doesn't matter that much if we get all 3 in our territory, because as soon as we'll have a farm, we'll put a farmer and we'll get the other one anyway. So actually, I would be tempted to settle here so that I don't have to go to any form of effort to get this one. And with that, I think it's an opportunity to talk about landowner one city challenge. Nations with access to landowners are Egypt, Hatti, Kush, and Rome. So we could look at any of those. Rome and Assyria are typically a bit like there are one city challenges. Their bonus are military, and that's not your path to victory in OCC. Or you add another challenge on top of it. But so we could look at Kush with our landowners. I would say, well, the 50% bonus for shrine is always good. Starting with stone cutting and divination is always good. So overall, they work quite well in OCC. We have other signs of a decent start. Of course, we have a bit of mountain here, so which is one of the reasons to get this farm, because it will help expanding in that direction. But the ability to build fort, we really don't care that much about. Hatti is well, I'm probably going to pick Hatti because I've already because Hatti is good. Well, Egypt is probably your best pick if you can pick Egypt in OCC all the time, just because of the 400 starting stone. 2 of these grain tiles are adjacent to rivers as well, which is an additional 40% bonus. There are plenty of reasons to go for them. One thing they don't have that Hatti has, beyond the 2 civics per city, which is incredible here, and also the ability to chop with your military unit, means we can still pull some work even if you're not clearing something or fighting or whatever. Movement over hill is always applicable as well, but also they start with administration, meaning that as soon as I get my first farmer here, I can put a granary here and almost double the benefit from my improvements. So let's have a look at that. Some Hatti, landowners, and builder. I won't deviate much from builder. It's the best starting leader in one city challenge by a wide margin. Anything else you do is exotic, essentially. So you can make other things work, but it wouldn't be a guide if I was telling you to do scholar sages or something like that. All right. So once again, let's have a look at it. I don't have either stone cutting or divination. I'm probably not making a play for either of these religions. I can also get some growth from a pasture, but I have a single pasture opportunity. Let me check. Are there more? I'm seeing some trapping, so we are probably not getting Judaism either, because well, we are very well positioned as a Hatti landowner to do that, because we start with this boundary, because we make our rural specialist quicker. We are part of the way to our labor force. We have iron working, but we need 2 pastures and ranches, and we only can see one opportunity at the moment to do that. All right, let's appoint my leader. Not as critical to do on the first turn, but often a good default action. We had some recent discussion about that, and yes, that's very valid. All right, let's get the farmer here. So this one is slightly more valuable because of the riverside, but I know this will be my first specialist. And I will get exactly the same tile from both. Well, I get this one, I suppose, from this, but I want to expand in this direction, so I'm putting my farm here. And yeah, let's get another worker right away. So, big benefits of landowners. You make rural specialists quicker. So in particular, when you know you'll want more rural specialists early, and here we have 4 grain farms, an opportunity for a 5th one here. We'll want all of these guys early because we will make a play. We will try to leverage the insane growth that we can generate from the start. That's one of the things you can do. It implies, if you really want to leverage growth, that either you want to be able to make caravans or you want to be able to get elder poets so that you convert the citizens you get into civics or some such plays. But even if you play the rest more standardly, getting urban specialists and all that, you will need growth. So the opportunity to get a lot of it early on is very good. With that, do I really want those shrines early on? I think I want it. I'd say the more standard play, if you don't start with stone cutting, is just get stone cutting. If you have some mountains in range, it makes sense. Our wire isn't particularly impressive. We don't have an opportunity for a general, but we can certainly move toward this guy. There's nothing that tells me, yeah, that's beyond the river. I'm probably not spending the orders to do that. I will have to go back early. Legitimacy for money or stone? Stone, no hesitation. 140 stone is awesome. It might justify going for shrines first, because we have at least the stone to make a few shrines. Let's keep our course for now. Alright, check the coast. We probably want to get there. There's probably an opportunity to make a direct bridge toward this, I don't know, island, peninsula, something, the other side here. What kind of map did we get? Lakes and Gulf. Alright. One of Fluffy's favorite, I believe, map script. We'll complete our workers, but we'll start on the farmer right away, and that will be a 2-ton farmer. Awesome. Get some wood. Get the farm. We haven't even done our first builder worker, which is super quick, and we will already have started on our specialist. So this will be an awesome start. Yeah, with that, let's start on the next one. Of course, we get a bit of extra money as well because we are landowners, but that's really not the very important thing when you are picking landowners is you're making your a rural specialist twice as fast. You start with 3 citizens instead of 1, so you don't have to wait as much to be able to get these extra specialists. And you can just buy tiles to expand your territory. No need to go for colonies, no need to do, you pretty much have 3 colonies for the entire game in the context of OCC. So I'd say we are getting to one of the general principles for OCC is that you have to reevaluate how everything scales. Because there are bonuses like this one from landowner, which scales super well for OCC because your city is your nation. So that bonus that applies to one city of your whole empire in the normal game now applies to your whole nation. So it's incredibly strong. Something like, let's say in terms of wonders, for instance, the Apadana is great economic benefit because it reduces the maintenance in all your cities. That's extremely effective on wide empires. It's pretty much you don't realize why the economy was so easy in that game when you have the Apadana. It's really not that good in one city challenge. Of course, all wonders are valuable because of the victory points, because of all the adjacent bonuses and all that. But in OCC, you actually probably want the 20 civics per year more than the main effect of the wonder in this case. Uh, Effects like the Acropolis, for instance. Once again, the extra order per forum. It doesn't matter in OCC. The 2 civics per year per religion is a lot more relevant. Um, and you have to evaluate everything. The Ishtar Gate here, well, it's an extra elder shopkeeper essentially because of the growth per culture. But the 100 culture on completion, which can like win the game or accelerate the victory by tens of turns in some right setup, that won't do that much in OCC. And the same is true for laws as well. Um, Aristocracy, centralization, and vassalage do their normal things. The main difference is it will take a lot longer for you to have enough unit to be able to justify vassalage. Serfdom, which is a flat bonus per empire, is very valuable in OCC, and colonies is very valuable as well. So for landowners, which essentially gives you colony for free because you will only have a city anyway, is awesome. It means you don't have to pick. You have the serfdom, you never have to switch and switch back during your game to be able to buy the tiles you need or anything like that. Expansion will be very important. The bonus civics it's always good, but it's incredibly good in What City Challenge. You really want it. The way you think about legal code, for instance, so divine rule, you will get at most one city with pagan religion, right? Because it's OCC. So that's never going to be very good in OCC. Legal code, it scales, but it scales with the number of laws. So it scales exactly the same way in OCC. And so it's incredibly valuable in OCC. You'll never pick divine rule unless you're making a meme game. Instead, unless you're doing that for thematic or role play reasons, etc. Everything has to be reevaluated. Monotheism does almost nothing, but it's still better than polytheism, which does exactly nothing. So you will always have a single city, so there's no sense in getting that, right? And despair of law is a lot less good. It does a lot less in OCC than anywhere else. So you might adopt it, but that's probably your last law. On principle, the value you get from having legal code and so extra civics per turn is better than the value of the law itself. Well, one order is one order, I suppose, but etc. Everything has to be evaluated in that light. The happiness bonus is probably insignificant in OCC. You will get science. You will need to push for it in your single city, and at one point you will have to compensate for the slower start and the smaller empire. You will need to reach higher. You will need to have a super core compared to what would be good enough in a standard game when you probably want to declare war toward the end of the mid game and get to the win that way. So here you will want units at one point because you don't want to be declared upon, and maybe you can play it with a pure farmer gambit, but typically it's very hard to maintain diplomacy for the entire game, not be raided, not be able to deal with it. Your single wire is not going to cut it. You will need more units. So in that light, the bonus cards are a way to convert science, what you invested in for science itself, but once it's not as important anymore, you can convert some of it to get the 2 longbowmen, to get the 2 crossbowmen. Well, the most valuable, of course, are still the most valuable, but it's also an opportunity of getting 2 units in a turn if you're able to get the tech. Because once again, you're limited by your build queue. So even if you have awesome production, you're never going to get more. You're never going to produce more than one thing in a turn. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So I will try to equip you with some general principles that applies for all, that are just the immediate consequences of the setting of what it does very directly, uh, uh, but it deserves thinking about. The fact that you have only a single city will affect many of your decisions and many of the way you think about it. Look at my civics production. I suppose I really don't like the negative charisma, but they're pleased for reasons that I'm unsure about. Oh, because they're in love. All right, good enough. So at least it mitigates their negative attributes, right? I get only 50% of the penalty, so um, I suppose that's good. All right, we got our pair of farms, our farmer, access to this one. I think I'm getting the third farm because it's closer to barbarian and they might attack me, and getting in position to start the granary as well next turn. I want this one, and I will get another one here. I want all four, right? I just want to open up the way. When I start buying tiles, I don't want to buy tiles that I don't have to because I could get them by normal ways. So let's do that first. Of course, it's better to get the farmers when they get doubled early on by the granary, but yeah, I'm maybe incorrect in doing that. But I value the territorial expansion as well, which is also a form of passive scouting. Gives you vision, gives you well, quite a few things. All right, there are multiple sources of ore as well, which will be cheap training, particularly as a landowner. But also I can like splurge on specialists because we are landowners, because we started with 3 citizens, all of that. Oh, welcome out of Mithril, welcome to the stream. So I've been yapping about OCCs and various strategies you can do. So we are up to landowners, but we played a bit of artisans. Early on, the first start I rolled was a patron one, so I discussed that a bit. So some consideration about what you do with your archetype, the kind of early goals you set for yourself, getting some specialists, getting your science up. I'm a very strong advocate of growth first in the early game, so that's what I'm demonstrating. Here we picked a start that allowed us to gain access to a lot of grain very early on. We had to play landowner at one point. So that's what we are going for at the moment. Okay. All right, we got one more farmer. And once again, I will like do this one first because gets me more tile, gets me makes me able to get that, gets me more tile earlier. And this guy will come and attack my workers relatively soon, I expect. So I want to be in position. I want to be able to retreat my workers not too late. All right, so okay, we are not in the best position to close out, but I wanted to have the vision here. Alright, the Austrianism on turn 9. Yeah, I'm not sure about all the... There are so many players who claim they can just like secure Austrianism. I mean, turn 9 feels very early, and that's a nation that doesn't start with divination. I suppose on the grade they get it from development anyway, but yeah, maybe I'm playing it wrong. I'm very surprised that there is a single guy here. I should have spawned several of them. Maybe they are actually fighting with someone else. I'm not too sure what's happening. Alright, I think I'll want the wheat. And also to get in position to get some stone, some quarries close to the mountain. We'll probably have some quarry region around here as well, but if we have some mountain, we might as well get the good one before we get the... That was very loud for me before we get the acceptable ones. 6 festivals, probably doable. Anarch slavery, bleh. Alright, so another one of these low consideration. I typically rate slavery as a pretty good low in old world. Getting extra stone and iron for each city is pretty strong, but it scales per city. And I suppose this applies to city as well, but the extra growth is more valuable, especially here where I'm going for a growth play, um, with early farms and farmers and granaries and compounding it all together. Um, and I think I would want freedom really to play in that. I put another multiplier on top, and I will grab the free stone. Oh, and I could get a free religious spread. Well, yes. We got our stone cutting, or stone cutting, sorry. I sort of want a mine, but I think I want a quarry even more. And yeah, none of these ambitions. Oh, losing a point of charisma. Alright, I have to pick one then. 6 festivals. I really won't need festivals for growth with this setup, so well, I suppose I don't want to lose my charisma. That might be the better pick though, losing the charisma in this case, if I'm honest. Right, cautious to upset, the flood has ended, let me check. So this guy doesn't kill me in one turn, I'm not taking counterattack from clearing the camp, so I'm still clearing the camp. I will have to hold it with my scouts, because this guy will whack me close to death. But clearing the camp is will make my life easier for the close future. Alright, we really want culture at one point. We don't have trapping to get a lot of it from the fur. We could get some from the gem mines. We don't have divination, we don't have drama, we don't have most of the sources of culture. So yeah, I will rate it as not worse for this one. It's a bit unfortunate. Okay, we can get another source of ore. This goes directly against the bonus we have from our family, so I will not pick it. It can work in sometimes, but I don't think it's the best for OCC. It's not like we are going to have food problems, so yeah, I'll live with that. Alright, and I might as well move my scout right now. They'll take 1 point of damage, but that's acceptable. Alright, I suppose adjacent to our city is not the best best spot to spawn one, but it's okay. Alright, one more farmer. So little by little we are getting more research. Of course, rural specialists are not that valuable for research, but still better than nothing. Egypt is doing Egypt things. Alright, we don't have that much money, so I'm going to just grab the sword from the peasant. Alright, let's get a bit further and pick herbalist. It will still be quicker to heal our unit by picking herbalist first in this context, so that's why I'm doing that. The uptime of your units is very important, especially if you have few of them, so I actually value the herbalist promotion quite a bit. Don't interpret that wrong though. Valuing it quite a bit is not the same as saying you should pick it every time. There are circumstances. I didn't even check the promotions. Well, I did check the promotion early on, but to see if there was something that would significantly accelerate clearing the first site, not for something like herbalist. And drama, of course, the streamer tech. Yeah, and get back to our city center. All right, and that's our fifth specialist. So too bad that we didn't get to select such an ambition. But we'll have awesome growth for a long time. We are going drama, so we'll probably want to get an elder poet. Might be worth once again switching to a judge if we get an opportunity. I don't know if we have one in the family. Let me check. No. But we want to keep an eye out for judges to be able to get our urban specialists for which we have no particular bonuses a bit quicker, a bit more efficiently. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this guy really, because I think I should really get the mines. Well, to be precise, I haven't done anything with this guy, so which probably explains part of my confusion. All right, so our scout helped us by keeping the warrior busy. The barbarian, sorry. Right, cut. Mine. So we are working on our resource economy essentially early on here to be able to do a bit more. So a sort of the god is super powerful trait, plus 50% versus infantry units is essentially easy mode if you have if the tribes around you are infantry tribes. But I'm not going to use my ruler to fight. Not in OCC, not with a builder. So actually I will value in this case the shrine, the cult, sorry, more than wielding it. That's a little bit of culture, not much, but a lot more than the 2 per turn I'm getting at the moment. No, I'm getting more. Where is that coming from? Oh, right, there's lavender in my territory. There's the value from the capital, and we had a religion spread. So I thought I had +2 for some reason. I forgot about Zoroastrianism, and I didn't notice the lavender. Alright, kill this guy. Complete our mine next turn. But getting the sword cult to finish what I was saying. Alright, I should lose this a bit. Here gets me quick access or quicker access to the second art tile. So that will work for our iron production, expands our territory toward the coastline. All good. And with that, I think it's time to work on our next worker. So I could get this farmer to do the full farmer thing, and maybe it's worth it at one point, but I don't think there's any urgency with that. So now that I have all this growth, I can pump my workers in one turn. Of course, that's because I also am a builder, and so do them for half the cost. And I still have 2 citizens in my city, so this is really a growth powerhouse, no doubt. In my play recently, when I've gone for high growth, or I had the opportunity to go for a high growth strategy, mostly it was on the back of traders, because traders start with a lot of fish and crabs, go into that directly. Do I? No. I have a wife, I have kids, it's okay. +2 courage, -1 discipline. Well, okay. I like my discipline, but well, courage isn't bad. Your training will accumulate slowly as well, or will be much more dependent on courtiers, which is not always ideal. All right, so the order, you need to make the most out of builder leader with their ability to stack and all that. isn't great. So at one point, unless you have an emergency, it's not silly to slow down, just not stack workers, so that you can work on different improvements concurrently. So that's what I'll be doing here. I'm trying to improve all three of my ore spots early. I suppose we could double down on the rural specialist, right? So we'll want plenty of citizens. So all right, let's get the next farmer, and maybe we'll get the ore specialist, the miner specialist, to work on our training while we are at it. We'll get drama soon enough, but that will still open a single slot for urban specialist, so it's decent. We'll have ample citizens to get value out of that still. And yeah, let's just do what we said we would. So 2 ore miners in progress, and I don't have quite the orders to start one this turn because I need to clear cut first. But yeah, let's do that. A drought, unlucky, that affects all our tiles. You can see how valuable on turn 20 75 civics is. We've worked on specialists. We couldn't even appoint another governor if we were to die. We cannot do a Mari mission. We cannot start a week wonder because we don't have the civics. So civics is extremely valuable. You want to really think about what you're doing with it. You'll have plenty of it later on, but early in the game, it's a precious resource. I'm actually tempted to pick Divine and Steadfast, and yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I get one more mine, and yet one more next turn. I put it there because that way I get the 40 wood as well, so... Alright, let's pick something. Cool, some culture, some legitimacy. We are at long last developing. We want divination. And we can start our Odeon next turn. Or actually, in celebration, because we gain a level. Oh, that's something. Alright, so I was going to stop around turn 20, so quite soon. We are developing, we've got our awesome growth, but I guess I will play on a little bit to illustrate the value of the switch from builder to judge. That's one of the most valuable, the best moments right now to switch to a judge. So let me see if there's anything else I want to do. Yes, I want to buy an order before that. Start my Odeon, because it's 3 years that way, and then switch my archetype to a judge. The whole point is that I'm switching my focus right now on immediate development to, I will want urban specialists. And a Londoner city, I have no marble, no particular bonuses for civics, apart from being Hattie, which is a flat +2, better than nothing, sure. But getting those poets will take a long time. So being able to accelerate that, and in particular, I hope being able to get an elder poet early, which will generate civics per citizens, will be awesome, because I can definitely get a lot of citizens with so many farms boosted by granaries and all that. Another thing I could do here is getting another granary to further boost my growth. These 2 farms would be boosted by a single granary here, or these 2 by a granary here. So this is prime spot for that. So farm powered high growth is what we are playing at essentially. We have 4 workers. I might want more actually. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And I get reduced growth because of the drought. So as you can see, I'm still able to pump a worker in 3 turns without being a builder. because of how awesome those farms are, and boosted by the farmers and boosted by the granaries. But since I need only one turn to get an extra citizen, I guess I'll just go council in the meantime to put a bit of civics aside. And hi, Cyan, welcome, welcome. All right, the AIs are grabbing wonders, so I should probably check that and decide what I want to do with wonders. The lighthouse is always awesome. We will expand our territory in OCC in general, being with colonies or landowners in this case, or with urban sprawl. All these techniques, minor cities will give us even more territory. Some VPs, if you want to attempt a bit more challenging but a bit more exciting, maybe VP type of victories with one city challenge. Well, it's a slog. It takes a long time, typically, and you will be in competition with AI. So I would recommend Ambition Victory if you've never done OCC, but yeah, getting wonders is good. And so at one point or another, we would get nets in our territory, and we would get more value out of that. So the lighthouse is still good. The Ishtar Gate is even more gross in our context. Not so great for anything else. I suppose we could have got the Jawan Aqueduct to improve farms here, but the truth is we got access to this tile by getting this farmer. I suppose we could have bought it since we're landowner. What I really want there actually is a museum. That's a big boost for a single city, but that's what we are. That's a big boost for our entire state. Alcasne is quite good. I would definitely like to make some caravans in my position, so getting a few to generate automatically would be great. But we are in no position to get quick culture at the moment. Our Odeon will pop, we'll get a theater right away, but still, it will still require a bit of effort from where we stand. Alright, so let's keep some civics, so we grow in 5 years, so somewhat quickly. Maybe we can get festival. Not that we really need the growth, but in this case, having a bit of culture and parking my effort in that direction is maybe not absurd. Well, maybe not absurd, but I think even 5 turns of council is probably better at this point. Or one more rural specialist. I will have the citizen I need. I already have it, so let's double down on our strength. Alright, the drought has ended. Stockpile 2000 food, we can certainly do that. Especially if it's out or we lose love. Love was cool. A princess could become a tracker or tough or fierce. Most of that is irrelevant really. I suppose I like tracker a little bit better. Let's send our second daughter to study commerce. So, despite what I said with the value of a judge and the importance, sometimes it's a very good opportunity when you get to developing, you get an event that allows you to become a judge. That's what happened here. It can be quite strong. So we'll try to illustrate that, and then we'll look at maybe yet other starts, depending on the time. Alright, we should get our pastures. I suppose I want the orders, so I'll start with the horses. Not that I don't want the growth, but I already have quite a bit of it. So, to get this ambition, I will get my extra granaries and get some additional farms around, even on arid tiles, but this one is riverside, that should still be a decent farm, boosted by the granary and the river, so that's the kind of things we'll be looking at. Let's look around a bit. We seem to be in a crater, whatever, encircled by mountain, and part of me doesn't really want to get out of it. because we haven't met tribes, so we are not getting raided. We have cleared the single barbarian camp around, so it's quite peaceful. And there you go. I'm getting to be proven confidently wrong once more. But it looks like a barb site in the south. I don't want to estrange my daughter, or at least not for so little. This is done. Yeah, okay, I'll deal with the barb a bit later. Start our theater right now. We have a lot to catch up. Get our apprentice poet done. So that's the power of the judge, of course. We convert our early quick development, getting the improvement faster, getting our starting workers quickly and all that. Now we are a judge. We can just like buy specialists to compensate for what we are bad at. Well, not what we are not very good at, which are the urban specialists. And one of the strongest ways to make use of this strong growth that we have, of this magnificent growth, I should say, are elder poets. So you can get a poet in 5 turns or something like that, but you really want to accelerate. So getting the master and the elder, which unlocks these bonuses, takes significantly more effort and a long time if I was doing that manually, without marble, without anything. I really want the marble on this topic, so let's get in that direction. Interestingly, Judaism still hasn't been founded, so it's probably late to make a play for it. We have this single rancher, but here I'm probably going to just buy the tiles. This one, this one, which would net me the gold tile here, the gems, and the marble. So let's start working on that from next turn. Robust cultivator. Cultivator is farms and groves. Well, sure, we have plenty of farms. Because these are grain farms which generate growth, we'll see a pop. So we are already at 46 growth per turn. As we become cultivator, we are now on 58. That's 12 growth from the trait, and of course it helps us speed toward our goal, our ambition. Okay, we got our apprentice poet. Let's get a master. And with that, let's go toward aristocracy. Somewhat standard, but justified. Oh, plague. It seems I'm going to adopt a religion instead of adopting a law, but this is disputable actually in OCC. So, alright, Cartier will come with an ambition to establish a state religion, Zoroastrianism, if you got Zoroastrianism, which means as soon as you get 400 civics, you will be able to complete that. That's extra legitimacy, is the ambition. But that's 400 civics. And maybe you want to do something else first. So, and it's a case here. So, probably better overall to just go for the easy ambitions. That's the victory you are shooting for after all, but I'm getting tired of Cartier. I'm possibly vengeful, full disclaimer, because he absconded with my hair in a recent game, but so I am biased. I think I'm picking the orders actually. It's rebels anyway, right? I could get a free low out of it though, which wouldn't do that much for me. Let me... what the upkeep? Low civics, alright. So the upkeeps becomes negligible as well in OCC for lows, because it scales with cities mostly. So there are some cases where you might... you're pressed for orders, so you don't want to pay 0.2 order per city. You have 10 cities, that's 2 orders. So you would opt for divine rule, because that's additional orders for maybe you just have 4 pagan cities, but that's already 6 order difference, right? In OCC, that's 1 order at most, and that's 0.2 orders at most. On the other hand, this scales with laws, not with cities, so legal code will win all the time in this context. It's really important if you are used to some plays to consider or think scales differently when you can only have a single city. It affects quite a few of the decisions you make. Monotheism is barely valuable, 400 civics to get 1 order pattern, but polytheism has no value at all in OCC. I suppose opinion from mythology if you really want to go there, but that's this is weak pair of law in 1cc challenge at best. Alright, let's plague and whack this person. I'm quite miffed that they are occupying just the tile I wanted to buy, but well, there you go. Barbarians are jerks. And okay, right, I cannot improve this one, so let's improve this one. And I cannot improve this one because there are scrubs there, and I don't have enough orders to clear the scrub and start the improvement. I think I want the militia, actually. All my workers have... Oh, okay, this one is not busy, but the militia is actually valuable in this case. And let me get the Elder Poet before I'm hurt. I have the ambition to stockpile food, which is in poor taste at the moment, because I would rather sell my food. But so the stockpiles ambition are always a bit double-edged, but alright, we'll have our first Elder Poet. Zealot or a judge? I would favor a judge in 1cc challenge. You want a strong governor, and your leader is probably your best bet for that, so... This is a melee unit, so the forest is not granting me any protection, but the urban tile is, and they will have to whack either my city or my unit, but not both at the same time, so I typically value it more to move out in those cases. I want to fund my paganism. But I'll take the turn to recuperate a bit. Alright, so my city is hurt, but I got my Elder Poet in time, so that's fine. I have 3 ore and 1 miner, so I actually can make a warrior in a decent time, since I don't have good growth during the plague and my city is damaged, so I'm not going to rush anything. If I'm getting a second warrior, it's probably the right time to do that. Alright, people are infected. Let's convert. Could spend stone. Alright, what about the princess? Also, I should have been tutoring her. My queen could have done that. I believe she's a courtier. No, I'm making this up. Yeah, alright, I'm mixing it up with the previous game. So I couldn't have tutored you, sorry. Am I paying the stone for that? I think I'm just getting a vengeful daughter. If I incubate... I don't remember. Can I remain a governor while I'm incubated? No. Alright, so I would remove my king. Okay, so with that, let's have a vengeful daughter. Too bad. Do we work on more iron? I suppose we do. Yes, it's valuable, at the very least. Oh, our shrines. Okay, I'm starting to lose my my focus here. I should be working on that as well. You get out of it, of here for now. Alright, the plague has ended, but I am doomed. I'm dying of it. Citizen, worker, or militia. I think I'm getting the immediate citizen. Yeah, sure. Alright, you get back to the city. This worker, so which goals from here? So let's resume this one to acquire the marble for the civics bonus. Our king is dying, but our princess is shaping up to be more of the same as a judge as well. Romantic, extravagant, inspiring, or eloquent. Well, extravagant. I can survive extravagant. So, all right, let's go there. Heal. All right, and yeah, as soon as possible, I want to get the second elder specialist. And the second elder poet, sorry, and in particular, and then let my growth do the work. Get additional citizen. Each citizen will be 2 civics with 2 elder poets, so that would be great. That's the plan anyway. And yeah, I think I want to put shrine here, so let's go in that direction. Alright, died. Enoch things, extravagant. 40%. Alright, bonus civics, super valuable. Bonus warrior, also super valuable. It's not like we can make warriors easily. Well, I guess we are better than usual, right, at making warriors. What with having 3 or in your city territory, which is a great boon, especially as landowners, I suppose. But civics. Alright, let's appoint our new queen. Finish dealing with this warrior, this rebel. Get our quarry and, well, I suppose keep walking in the direction of our desired shrine. I should really be getting the granary first, though. Alright, I'm not so focused anymore, it seems. Okay, our sister, the princess, is a builder. We probably want to get back there at one point. Our spouse as well is a builder now. Dye and pearls to any tribe. I haven't found any of that. Well, I see that there are pearls, but I have no idea where tribes could be. We need to enact slavery though, even temporarily, so let's go for labor force. Alright, let's found our paganism. And yeah, I think we want the money and culture to start with. Alright, let's get an extra worker. Not ideal, but what I really want is to buy this guy. But I would need to spend the turn just repairing to be able to do that next turn. Or I can wait 2 turns and do something else during that time, and then get the second elder poet. We'll need some time to get the money anyway, so I suppose that's okay. We're not a cultivator anymore, so we are slower to work toward our food stockpile goal. Hopefully that's still okay. Alright, the woke. Spread religion 4 times, not happening. Establish veneration, not happening either. Alright. Not happening either, because that's 600 civics essentially to pick a theology that I don't love. So and especially not in OCC, where rebels will not really be a problem. All right, let's start to attack this guy. Our shrine is on the way. Another mine is on the way. Let's get another quarry, if and when we can. And these guys will work on the next granaries. Nope. Nope. Yeah, extra civics. Okay, whack whack whack. Alright, so I kinda want the poet, but I really want the stonecutter. Yeah, so I think I'm slow. Well, it's not really slow, but I'm just getting the stonecutter, and I'll see about buying the poet later, because we are not that rich to be able to buy it. We have to buy the master, then the elder. Okay, we cannot stack, so that's not a thing. The other granary, the other quarry, and then the next granary spot, I suppose. All right. And with that, I've made almost no use of the ability to buy tiles. Well, I went to the marble tile that way, but that's a very strong ability still. We could easily minor these two sites, which would get us a lot more tiles to improve, to make rural improvement, quarries, and all that. So it's a bit, I would say it's not the main path for OCC, because at the end of the day you won't really want that many rural specialists, even if they're cheap. So, uh, so I would say maybe not the easiest way to play OCC compared to Sages or Strong Patron Start or something like that. But still should be serviceable and work. So all right, let's get to it. Let's get to our second elder. We also really want to be strong to get a pick of the wonders we really want, and to get the most value out of centralization, which I should have adopted earlier, maybe. Yes. And all the per culture bonuses we can get. People are converting. Alright. Why are they displeased? Oh, because the Queen Dowager disappointed was actually the oligarch. Alright. Makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, with that, I think I'm coming here. All right, I want more shrines because they will be more valuable for culture and everything. So we'll start working to get these minor sites quite soon, but we ain't there yet. So all right, let's make use of our great stone protection to get the elder poet immediately. So as you can see, I have tried to make maximum use of the bonuses of my family. We are turn 36, we already have 10 specialists. Most of them are rural specialists that went very quickly because we are landowners. But I also got 2 elder poets to make the most of the growth I get. And yeah, essentially that's at the core of what you want to do. You really want to pick your family in OCC and really lean into that. That's more or less always true, but the more so in one city challenge. And that comes back to what I was saying earlier, but you kind of want to give yourself a good start. Most start can actually be played in a one city challenge, and once you are experienced with it, it will not be as daunting, and will definitely feel easier. In some cases, it's easier to stay in a corner, although that's hard to know from a starting position. Uh, but I think, for instance, the Fall of Babylon game I played, that's scientific suggested at the beginning of the year. Well, he suggested it way earlier, but I found out and played it at that time. Uh, I think, I don't know because I haven't tried, but my feeling is that it's probably not that much. Alright, misplayed that. Not much harder and possibly a bit easier playing it in OCC. Even if it was a game without the right settings and all that, and it ended up costing me the game essentially because I had to refuse many ambitions that were simply not doable, right? Because quite a few of them are not achievable in OCC mechanically. So, but in some cases, because you don't want to explore, because there's so much challenge with stripes. So here we are going for architecture. So that's our first real like tech science play. It's done 37 already, so it's not going to be an early architecture, but with our two elder specialists or 8 other specialists. So our civics is going to start to pick up. Every time we get a new citizen, we'll get civics for it. So if we look at our civics protection, we get 8 from standard, 2 for early city, 2 for ATI. The stonecutter improvement quarry, that's the marble stonecutter. Right, that's a marble that grants 2 to the quarry, and the stonecutter grants +1 and half of what the quarries provide. So that will be that. And 2 from citizens, because each elder poet grants you 1 civic per citizen. So this will get to 4 next turn, etc. So it takes a bit of time and effort to set up, but it can be very strong. Which means we don't really want to get specialists unless they are very good. Very good would be the third elder poet, for instance, when we get to build an amphitheater when we become strong. Because of course it compounds with the same base. Once we start to get more civics improvements like courthouses and such, we will get even more. So we want to sort of keep our citizens at the moment. Our strategy is built on it. Alright, so I played this one further than the other ones, but I was essentially explaining why I'm not going for acolytes here. So yeah, I like to make projects, for instance, stuff that improves my city without consuming my citizens. But yeah, I guess we are reaching the end of our stream. I don't think I covered everything. Just in case, let me put that save as well. This starts on the side for later sharing. So 1 second while I grab that. So that will be OCC landowners. So once again, these saves have all been generated with pick later. So if you want to see what it does with another pick of landowners, they are a bit thematic because of the resources that are around. So there's one kind of salt that I didn't cover here because they are traders and we didn't go through that. One of the main big ones, I would say. So sages, artisans, patrons, landowners are probably the most. You can do something with all the non-military city. I would say clerics is not what it was. It's still doable. I played a couple of of Clerix OCC recently before and after the change. It still works quite well. It's a bit more of a slow starter, obviously, um, but I hope I covered a few of the general principles you got to keep in mind when you think about what you're going for, what you're trying with One City Challenge. I suppose more full games would be needed to cover what I'm doing with what you should be looking at for your territory development, for your the way you urbanize, or to identify a strategy that applies to your start. But already we went through a few. What you could do with artisans, with landowners, with patrons, and with sages, of course, in the full playthrough I played over the last 2 weeks. I'll probably come back to it. I have an amazing start for traders that I never played, so maybe I'll conclude by loading that and showcasing it a bit. And I'll be playing it on stream, I think, at one point. So after I was looking at the Babylon Fall game, really, the one that Cyan shared with us on Discord, I checked a few. I think that was this one. I generated a few OCC start, and I think I played like 10 or 20 turns of this one. But this is obviously a trader OCC as well. I believe it was generated. Yes, this is the one. So I never quite played it. So I will be going for a full playthrough. So there will be strong similarities with what I just showcased, because if you have here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 net resources, gross net resources with traders. So awesome growth from the start. Minus the granaries, but plus the trader bonus. And I will be tempted to rely on so-called poet pumps, generating civics from citizens with such a start. With traders, of course, you have the added benefit that you can use this growth to generate caravans as well, and handle your diplomacy through that. But I didn't have a full playthrough. I think I played some 20 turns or something like that in the middle of the winter. So I'll come back to it and we'll discuss OCC in this context at a later point. And with that, thank you all for joining. And next week, Fluffy Bunny will be your host. So, and I'm not sure what he has in store. So. But I'm sure it'll be interesting. So do not hesitate to join at that time. And either I will play this trader start, why not, in a few weeks when I will be back streaming on our weekly slot, or possibly I might stream it over a weekend, either on our official stream and at another point. All right, thank you all for joining. See you next. Bye bye.